Hi, what's up? This is Lauv, and this is Breaking Modern Loneliness on World Mental Health Day. I'm really excited to share with you guys this panel. It's called Finding Mental Health Online, and on the panel we have Lena, Renzina, Ritviz, Parker James, and Thea here to share their experiences with mental health and things that they've learned. Hope you guys enjoy, and remember, if you're struggling or you need someone to talk to, there are a ton of resources at lauvsongs.com/help. Just don't hesitate to reach out and enjoy.
Today is World Mental Health Day, and we have an incredible panel of musicians, artists, content creators, and we're going to be talking about managing mental health online today. So first off, I'm Lena Renzina. I run talent partnerships for the Ad Council. We are a national nonprofit focusing on creating national campaigns on behalf of different social impact issues. So anything from mental health awareness and suicide prevention to wildfire prevention with Smokey Bear, probably our most iconic campaign, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have over 40 different issues that we tackle, and we can talk more about all of our work in the mental health space as well, especially around COVID-19 and the impact of that on young people, which has been really devastating. But I just also want to introduce everybody and have everyone give a little background about what they do and the content and art they create. And if you want to say your name, talk a little bit about what you do, and also maybe say your pronouns, and mine are she, her, hers.
Hey guys, this is Ritviz. I'm over in India, and it's always so hard to explain. It's just okay, how do I define how do I bring it down to a sentence? But I'm just gonna say I'm a musician, and that's it. Over to you, Parker.
My name's Parker. Parker James. I'm from the DFW area. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a content creator on multiple social media platforms. I am a musician, and I do lots of vintage photography, like Polaroids, and I'm obsessed with vintage and clothing and just making people smile and happy with my content. So, yeah.
Hi everyone, my name's Thea. I'm right now in Auckland, New Zealand, and my pronouns are she, her. I am an artist. I make music that's kind of I like to describe as alt pop or cyber pop, and then I've also got a new project that's in my indigenous language, which is Te Reo Māori, and that's kind of just to, bring back some older ways of writing, and kind of just try and inspire our other young people in this country as well. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. So as I mentioned, today is World Mental Health Day, and at the Ad Council, we actually have several different efforts tackling mental health awareness and suicide prevention, and specifically young audiences, ages 16 to 25. And a lot of research shows that COVID-19 has had a really horrible impact, even worse on mental health of young people. So why is mental health and having this conversation so important to you?
Yeah. No, I think just the day and age that we're living in right now, the social media world that has completely consumed us. I'm only now realizing the effects of it, because it's also we're so new to it. Also, we're just getting accustomed to it and everything. And about time that we start managing it, because it's affecting our everyday mental health. And it's important that we talk about it, because I think it's not normalized yet. Just being vocal about the fact that this is the one place that we're expressing and showing everybody what we do and what we are not realizing how much it's taking from us. So I think it's extremely important to address that, and I'm glad we're doing this. So yeah.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that. Before COVID and all that stuff hit, it was very public. Life was life. You were in the open. you were able to express yourself with other people and others around you. But now there's this feeling of seclusion and loneliness that a lot of people have to deal with. You don't know what people were dealing with before everything happened. There might be an abusive figure in the household now, and with all of this that has kind of kept us up inside, I can definitely see how that is challenging for a lot of people. So,
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, it's definitely been really hard if you think about like communities like all of our queer kids who, some may be closeted, some maybe not. And so being in environments that are not necessarily safe at home can be super, super hard. So I feel like there's been like blessings and curses with like our online communities, right? Because it's meant that so many of us who feel kind of like lost or aren't necessarily like represented elsewhere can find like that safety in the online. Which has been great, and kind of give that escape from like maybe bad home situations and stuff, because you've got like nowhere else to go, obviously. But I feel like on the mental health side of things, it's like been really traumatic. I think it's a worldwide thing, like we're going through something, even if like we don't think that it's affecting us, it's tough. Like it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I think that more of like kind of returning to trying to think about like how I guess we can try and support and just like more openly figure out ways to, I guess, deal better, whether that's like limiting time on social media and stuff if that's like not good, or engaging if that's something that's going to help you. But I think we just have to figure out like how to kind of help ourselves and support those around us, because it's tough.
Yeah, that's a really good sort of point about, figuring out what works for you. And I think we can all agree that routines are really important to a lot of people. And with COVID, everyone's routines have completely been upended and changed. And a lot of the ways that people cope and deal with their mental health has probably had to shift. So curious about how you've been balancing your mental health and coping since COVID-19 started.
Well, I just really, I have always been about positivity. I've always been about setting myself in a position to where, you really just strive on the future and look at the bright side of things, and really kind of, I don't want to get caught up in all the negativity that's going on. My life has been insane for 2 years now, before COVID and everything. Like my dad recently got diagnosed with cancer, and he's had that for 2 years. And then COVID hit, and he was at the peak of his, chemo treatments, and he had like no immune system. He's lost weight. He lost his hair. And it was just this really crazy experience. And I had to completely back away from all of my friends, not because I didn't want to hang out with them, but because I'm keeping my family safe. I don't want cancer to take my dad. I definitely don't want this virus to take my dad. And I don't want to open up a door to where that can even become relatively possible. So like I said before, it's definitely a lot of seclusion, but I found things that made, me happy. I went out and bought clothes online. Am I going to go wear that outside? No, I'm going to wear it in my room. Because why? It makes me feel good. I like clothes. Yeah. I went out and I ordered tons of stuffed animals. I love collecting, and I did things that made me feel happy. And I also focused on, this will all be over one day, just like everything. Everything will come to an end eventually. And you just got to keep your, just stay very positive, especially during times where you feel that there's no way out. Just keep your head up and just keep looking forward,
I think Parker, just staying in that headspace is so important, right? Because I can't imagine what it's like to deal with like everything right now just seems like COVID period has just like amplified all of the already like what we were going through and everything. It just like amplified it, because we're all at home and we're not able to like deal with one of the major revenues for a musician, at least in India right now, is live shows, right? And that's obviously gone out of the picture. And streaming money is just not enough. And so it's just like everything is just like you just expect yourself to be in this position. Like, okay, how am I supposed to deal with my 6 months right now? But we're here. We're all like we're in September right now. So yeah, things are gonna get better, and like just maintaining that headspace is so important. So yeah, Parker said it. So yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like such an anxious bunny. So when I get really overwhelmed, which is like honestly practically all the time, then I I pretty much just take some time off the social media, and that really honestly, it's kind of mind blowing how much that's calmed me down. Like I'll literally put it on airplane mode and that's it. And in New Zealand, we've had time like each day we're allowed to go for a walk, just to like be able to get out and stuff. So I found that really helpful. And then also like kind of similar to what Parker said, I ordered a bunch of books because I felt like since I've been doing music now, which is like 4 years, I used to read all the time, and now I'm just so exhausted that I haven't been reading and stuff. So I've really tried to do that and like just read loads of like cool books on like just, indigenous knowledge and things like that. And then apart from that, something that has really helped me kind of just feel connected and get involved like with people all around the world has been Zoom shows. Like I have literally been doing like, at the peak of the pandemic, I was doing like about 4 a week and stuff. And it was really special because it meant that I was able to do gigs with like all of these artists that I would never get to do in real life because I'm in New Zealand, and they're in LA or Montreal. So that's been really special, and I've made so many incredible friends from that, and we still talk all the time now. So it's kind of just been like, yeah, there's been like ups and downs, but I feel like the most important thing is for, everyone to just figure out what makes them kind of feel like a bit of peace or happiness or, what do you need to do personally? And even if that's like switching yourself off from, some of the chaos of the news,
Yeah. That's so impressive that you did 4 Zoom shows a week. I think some people, some artists, I'm sure, are feeling very, unable to create right now. And so definitely talk a little bit about that. How has it been creating music, creating content during this time? Have you found that as like a positive thing in your life, or are you feeling like really frozen, unable to do anything? How have you been managing some of those feelings?
I think one of the things that Thea mentioned was so cool because I connected to that. The fact that this period has taken us away from like our like our professional self. So it felt like, okay, I'm going to do stuff that I was doing back in school. That's reminding me of what I am. All of the stuff that really like created this person that like my childhood like engraved. So it's very interesting that you mentioned that because for me, I think I think it was watching movies because I feel like last 2 years have just been, me on tour, not finding time to just like catch up on stuff and just re-watching some of the stuff that I watched back in school. So no, that sort of like reminded me of where I like, had my initial influences and all of that. So I was just just wanted to continue on what Thea had mentioned. So, yeah, but like coming back to what you asked us, Alina, I think making music in this period, as a musician who's like anyway like stuck, at home. I'm very introverted, so it's not like I require myself to step out of my house to make music. So I didn't see that as an issue. My recording studio, everything is in my house. So like this is the space that I work in. So music making was not an issue. Definitely collaborating with people became a bit of a hassle because I'm the kind of person that would like to sit and work with somebody rather than do like I can't Zoom call jam session. Like that's just not going to work. I've tried it. So that was a bit of an issue. But other than that, just very basic production and stuff was taken care of just because, my line of work doesn't require, and I guess Parker here, you guys also might agree with this, but yeah.
Yeah, like I'm kind of the same as both you guys. I had a bunch of gigs lined up, like even this really cool one, like that I curated myself. That was like me and a bunch of like us, like underground kind of musicians, and so that was really hard. Like when all of those opportunities to like go out and like connect and everything got cancelled. But again, to talk about the Zoom shows, like what I loved about them and what I honestly made me just so fall in love with the idea, and I think that it needs to like carry on into the future beyond COVID, is just how inclusive those environments were. Like it means that if you have anxiety or a disability, which means you can't go into a normal club environment and like experience everything, or if you're underage or just whatever, like you can go into a Zoom show and it's just amazing, like so cool, and then you can like cater your background and everything. So I really loved that, and really appreciated that.
So you've all touched on social media and sort of how it affects your mental health and balancing all of that. So I definitely want to talk more about that and how you have conversations with your audiences about mental health, whether it's trying to be there for them or, talking about your own experiences. I gotta say, part of my week that I dread is when I know my phone is going to send me that little alert of how much screen time I've had every week. And since COVID, it's just like absolutely out of control because, we're not out with our friends socializing. We're on Zoom, we're on Instagram Live, we're on everything. So it's definitely been a challenge to sort of put a cap on it and say, I have to walk away and do something else. But at the same time, I'm sure it's provided a lot of your audience sort of comfort to hear that someone else is in the same situation. Parker was actually a part of the Ad Council's Alone Together campaign, focusing on talking to young adults about mental health during COVID. So I know that he's definitely talked to his audience about this, but I'm curious, what has that experience been like for you? What have you shared? What have you heard from your audiences? And just what you're seeing.
We just put out a song, I think 2 months ago. It's called Roshni. In Hindi, that means light. And in our country, like in India, there's like a lot of stuff going on this one actor that had committed suicide, Shashank Singh Rajput. I don't know if you guys like read about that, but it's created like a whole like especially right now, the talk around mental health obviously started to grow a little more after the death of this actor, and it was just a very hard phase for a lot of us because like it was like a really great actor and a lot of us loved him. So we put out a song. I put out a song, and I think through the song, I did a bunch of like I think the conversation started mid-COVID. We were talking about like I think the majority of people. Like everybody, we know how we feel, but we don't talk about it. That's what needs to change, I think, a little bit because everyone's aware of their. Also, well, I don't know if everyone's aware, also, but like what you're feeling, kind of. But then, like, till you don't like talk to somebody about it, you don't know yourself. You won't even recognize it till then. So I know that with one of the things that we really wanted to do was put the song out and talk about it. Like, so the album cover of the song is the Instagram font. Right. And what we basically tried to like, the idea was that, the social media addiction and everything that we wanted to focus on. So I know that I tried to do this with a song release mid-COVID. So I'm just trying to stay in touch with my fans and everybody and speak to them about, like you said, Lena, it's so important because they're also looking for comfort, right? Because they're looking at their favorite artists and expecting that kind of, and in return, I receive that also when I'm on live and chatting with everybody. It's like a back and forth of energy, and yeah. I've had conversations and like it's important. Like I did that with that song release. So yeah. What about you guys?
No, yeah, definitely about, especially with me. I had a when I did do that campaign and I uploaded that video. There was a lot of positivity that reached out. Like a lot of people were saying thank you, and I can see how that touched them. But what really touched me is seeing the way that they reacted to it and how it helped them. You see, I'm all about like I said earlier, is just positivity, and I love helping people. I've always been just seeing people react to something that I feel passionate about in a positive way. It brightens my day up, especially with everything that I've been dealing with. It's seeing people react positively towards me in a kind manner. It really brightens up my day, just like how I hope I brighten up theirs. So yeah, it's been really helpful seeing my I don't even really call my fans. I call them my friends. They're my buddies. So yeah, I don't want, as soon as I don't really like want to put that like, oh, they're my fans. Now you're my buddies because you make me smile, So yeah, it's real. That's how it's helped me. It's made me feel very positive, even when it's there's all this negativity swirling around our heads,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, you guys. I mean, I feel like very similar. I think when I make music, pretty much like every single song is always autobiographical. So I feel like when I release it, just the relationship with like everyone on Insta is really cool, and they know that I'm kind of releasing whatever like from my heart, and so I feel like it just kind of, I don't know, I just, as much as sometimes I can really struggle on socials and I just need a break from like the craziness. Other times I absolutely find it such a beautiful place to like connect with everyone, and my fans or followers, whatever you want to call, like always send DMs, and I pretty much reply to every single comment or every DM as much as I can, and it's just really cool. And the amount that of DMs that come through that are about, wow, like I listened to this when this happened, and I listened to this when this happened. It is just so moving and makes you realize that, just how kind of universally accessible and beautiful our arts are, because you're making something to deal with your own issues, but it ends up being something that someone else is always going to like glean some kind of thing from. And so I think, yeah, that's kind of what has I feel like brought all of us together on socials, and that kind of like helps and makes me feel happy. They know that they can like safely come and message me, and I in turn, like you said, Parker, like will feel kind of loved by them as well. So it's cool to create that community.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. And I think aside from just how like universal you're saying the community connection can feel, one of our mental health awareness campaigns called Seize the Awkward actually last year solely focused on leaning into music, because research found that just young people resonated with music so much, they connected with their favorite artists, and that really helped them get through some tough times. So I feel like you're 100% there for your audience, even when you're not replying to their DMs, just with the art and the music that you're creating. We actually partnered with Lauv on the campaign at the end of last year, and just all of the responses that we see, just how much his music and music overall is so universal and helps everybody through. It's really incredible. Have any of you had an experience that really stands out in having a conversation with a friend, somebody in your community? I don't want to say fan, but somebody that follows you, follows your art. Is there an interaction that maybe really stood out for you? Thea, you mentioned that you answer all of your DMs, which is amazing. But is there anything that a time where someone was reaching out to you specifically for help, and then how did you sort of manage that?
Um, I think there's been a couple of messages that that focus on the fact that my music in a way has helped somebody through a tough period, right? And and I always find it really hard to like express gratitude here, but also like um, we're not. I mean, it's a conversation where you're telling somebody that your music has been like sort of like a catalyst to like move all of this chaos out of my mind, out of their minds, and like talk but there's I don't think there's been like a very proper conversation around the fact that what we're going through, we're in a way just channelizing it, right? We're just finding ways to like get rid of it without sometimes recognizing it, like what it is, where it's coming from. So it's interesting because a lot of people talk about the music and how it helps. It's like a medium to like just switch from where you are to like move somewhere else. But I know that I have spoken to like my best friend talks to me about mental health constantly, about how we're always just finding ways to move from point A to point B, but we don't recognize why we are in that situation. We need to talk about the problem rather than finding a solution. Everything we first, like, I mean, we all just self-diagnose and just like move, right? What I think is important is to like first recognize why you're there, because then you are looking at a bigger problem. So I don't know. I think I just steered away with your question, but over to you guys. Have you had any? I can't think of like a very specific experience, but one that I would like. I hope I have one.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like me, I've never really been a guy. It's funny because I'm, Parker James on TikTok and Instagram, and I have all. It looks like I have this big following, but I've never really had a whole lot of friends. I've never been a big friends guy. It's always been family. I'm very family oriented. I only have like one friend, and I've been friends with her. I met her in high school, and we've been friends ever since. And it's funny because the friends that I think I had when I have them at the time, it's like they don't understand what I do for a living and how it plays into like literally every aspect of my life. And it's very important to try to, like, when you are making friends, to kind of let them know, like, hey, this is like what I do. I'm like sorry if I can't go out and hang out. I have to do this campaign. So reaching out for me when I'm feeling upset or when I'm feeling down, I usually reach out to my my brother. My brother's in my band. I've had other past band experiences. They're great. I loved all of those guys. Of course, they ended up not understanding that, like, my job is, sometimes can get in the way, especially with COVID. But now it's just me and my brother, and we make music together. So I turn to him, and I turn to that, like, one best friend that's, like, stuck with me through everything. And you got to find the people that truly understand, before you open yourself up fully and expose. I guess that's just my experiences, but that's what I tend to do. I'm a very extroverted person. When I'm outside, I need public interaction. I'm very silly, loud, probably very obnoxious at times, but I'm a very extroverted person when it comes to friends. So yeah, I stick to the people that I know I love. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think some experiences that I've had or been a part of, like online, like interacting with people that have been really kind of notable, was that I released this song called Bad Idea, which was super like trigger warning, it's about self-harm. And my kind of journey with trying to move on from, a lot of childhood self-harm and coming up into my teens and everything. And it was really tough. Like, I almost didn't even release the song, and it kind of went with my mental health journey at that time, which was like not in a good space. But I ended up releasing it with like the support of, my friends and my management, and with the idea that, like, and I've only played it once live. I just can't even, I'm like, I don't want to go there, but it just sits online, because I was thinking about how few songs there are about self-harm, mental health, and learning to process and move on and realize that, like, there's like a line in the bridge that says, my pain is my power. I don't have to fight on my own. Like, and learn to like move on, I guess, and process your trauma and stuff like that. So that was the song. And so there was some really incredibly touching DMs from people, like, just saying how, the song really helped them because they too were going through self-harm or anything like that. And that was really mind-blowing. It's like, wow, okay, cool. Like, one, I don't feel so lonely. And two, I mean, what more could you ask for when you're releasing something that's so personal and so hurtful? Like, so that was really, really touching and really made an impact on me. And other times, I suppose, if I have friends message and they're in like a really bad space, or fans, it always kind of just means a lot, just to let them know that, like, I'm literally there, like, anytime you want to talk. I've been doing like lots of reading and talking to other people about, how to best deal with like mental health when we're all feeling really, not sure what to do. And one of my friends who went through cancer and breast cancer and had a mastectomy, and she's survived and is in remission and doing very well. She said that, like, what was really hard for her when she was undergoing her treatment was that everyone would say, let me know what I can do, but she didn't even know herself what she needed. And that just made her feel so, like, out of it. So I feel like what really helps when I'm feeling really down, or when anyone else approaches me and they're feeling down, is just, like, actually asking, like, how are you feeling? Are you in a safe space? Do you want to talk about what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that's, what really just opens it up. Because, I feel like that's kind of the taboo, right? In our time, mental health has been such a new thing to kind of speak about, and start to come into like the mainstream and like the cultural zeitgeist or whatever, that we haven't really been taught how to even understand how to respond and how to best care for our friends, and anyone that we know. So I feel like, like, literally it seems so simple and so like whatever, but just literally reaching out, going, how are you? Where are you? What's up? Like, you can talk to me. Like, I'm here. And that's been what's happened, had friends who've just, whether they've been going through breakups or just really, mentally just not in a good space. Like, that's when I will just keep my phone on and, like, make sure that I just reply as soon as they text. And it's really cool. And then they've been there for me when I've not been feeling good as well. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think you really, got to the core of it, which is the starting the conversation. And it's hard because you're right, there's such a stigma, and us having this conversation and all of our, work that we're doing is really taking the stigma away from having these important conversations, and reaching out to your friends, especially if you feel like they're struggling with something. And you touched on this a little bit, but curious if Parker and Ritviz, if you have any experiences where a friend was there for you a moment you were struggling, and what did they do to help you sort of get through that moment that was really impactful?
Mm-hmm. I think the one person that I can think of would be my mom, because that's just been a constant, like, from a very young age, like, it's just a simple, the idea of exchanging just like thoughts, right? Like, it's not just like it's more than, I mean, it could just be like talking about your day, but then that just moves into like, oh, mom, I'm feeling like, things are like really moving fast for me or slow for me and everything, like, from a very young age. So that open communication with one person in my life has been a very major part of me expressing just in general, you know. So the idea of expression is not like very scary to me, thanks to mom. And I would say because just from, like I said, from a young age, like that communication was built, right? So I know that I've seen that through my life, but even now, she's a call away, right? And I just feel like I have this one person in my life that I can just don't have to like prepare myself, and it's so important. I think Parker mentioned this earlier. Just having the right people around you who understand you. You don't have to, because when I'm like musician me online, people are also interpreting me in their own ways, right? Like everyone just has this version of me, and very few people actually understand where I'm coming from. So holding on to them is like, now I'm just latching on to mom. Every day it's getting colder. Like it's just like the as you grow as an artist, like it feels like, oh, my professional self is just like booming, but like your personal self needs to catch up to your professional self, because like this is just, it's very uneven. And for me it got really weird about like two years ago. I my one of my songs, like really, like I had my first big breaks, and everything just like took off. Like I was doing like a show a month, and then post the song release, it was like 4 shows a week and everything. Like I just took on everything because I'm like, okay, cool, this is my time, right? All of that was happening for me. But what I didn't realize is like 1 year, just a year into like just this fast lane life, I've like forgotten, I felt like my identity had become musician me, right? Which is not true. That's not who I am, because the minute, and then like I noticed the problems right then, because like I would feel hurt, like I started like catering to the hate also, like, because that has a lot to do with my self hate, self hatred. So what I realized is that you can threaten me by like not appreciating my music, and that's so sad, because I had completely, I'm working on it today. I had completely like thrown away my original identity, and now what I'm trying to build is that my personal self can stand on its own and not fear, like if I detach my professional self, I'm still good, I'm still good. I don't require musician me to take care of me, right? And so my last 2 years have been just about this, to build my personal, and like just be good. So if my professional is just not doing well, that's fine. My mental health will still be stable, right? So just coming back to what you were asking, I think mom has been a very big deal for me in terms of just like communicating all of these feelings, and then realizing it. Like I'm on this path of self-actualization, right? I'm just trying to figure out who I am, what my identity is, and it's not the music that I make; it's the person that I am, and I'm only now building it. So yeah, and all of this happens when you have your people, right? When you have your people tell you that this is who you are. Everybody telling you who, like, this version of you that has been projected on you is not who you are, because we get caught up in that. So yeah.
No, yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Like everything that you said was like really on point. Like I said earlier, like I'm not like a big friends guy. I am friendly with everyone, and I'm very kind to everybody that I come across. So they're the people that I turn to are my mom, of course, and my dad. And that one friend that's like stuck with me, like that's, and my family, that's who I turn to.
Yeah, thank you for sharing both of your stories. But just to close out this important conversation, for anyone out there watching who is a creator, a musician, an artist, and is struggling with creating right now, struggling with their mental health, burnout, just any long lasting tips as we hopefully see the end of COVID, but also in regular times when, mental health is still existent, because everybody has a mental health, like everybody has a physical health. So any final tips?
Final tips. I'm figuring it out for myself also. So I think one of the things that I have now actively started doing is not check my Twitter mentions. Because it's. I mean, it's a very like. It's. I started obsessing over it. Like I would just be like, oh, what are people talking about me? 24/7. Right? Like it's just like a thing. And I've noticed that it just stems from my self-loathing, that I want to. I will have like there'll be like 10 comments that like are just like filled with love, but I will just ignore them because I feel like I don't deserve that, right? So I'll just look for hate. And I started to realize this. So then I was like, okay, I'm just doing this to myself. I don't care about people. It's just me. It's me that like wants all this hate. So I had to discipline myself a little bit by just simply not checking my mentions every now and then it's fine when it's just like, I'm on the app. But I think, I really just, I know it's not like it's easier said done, but I've actually practiced it. So I can say it that it worked for me because I know it's not like an on off switch, but I just literally did that. Like I had to, because I realized that this was all me, that I'm just doing this to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's you in, okay. Me going into social media, I didn't expect, of course, all of this to unfold and me be where I'm at now. So anyone that's on social media or wanting to become have a presence on social media, or just wanting to just live a happy life, people will always find reasons to dislike you. Yeah. And that's just how people are. Yeah. Okay? Like you need to understand that you could do everything in your free will to do positive after positive after positive, and there will always people be finding reasons to dislike you. And it may be because you don't know their home life, you don't know what's going on in their house. Yeah. There may be something that's really bothering them, and they're funneling it through a way of like, oh, I just don't like this kid's face, so they'll come after you, and you just need to understand. And they could say things that aren't even relatively true, but you just need to understand where you stand and strive to be the best possible person you can. Put the past behind you, all the negative comments, all that, and focus on the future. And never say I won't be able to succeed. Always say, when I'm able to be this, or let's say you're a musician and you want to become the next big thing. Don't say, hopefully I get a Grammy. Say, no, when I get a Grammy and when I get these awards and when I'm able to fill stadiums. Focus on the wins, not the ifs. So everyone that has that sees your success and have something negative to say about it, just understand that, they may be dealing with something, but don't get caught up in it, and realize love and positivity always conquers and overachieves hatred, no matter what.
That's such an interesting point, because one of the things you mentioned, just the more you understand yourself in whatever way you try and learn about yourself, you're also learning about everybody else, right? Like you okay, cool, this is what I'm going through. It's like, okay, that my people listening to me could also be going through this, so their reactions also make sense. So the more you are like, this path of self-actualization is also the path to understanding the world. So it's this like you're finding mental peace within, and that'll help you also deal with you figure out yourself, you're figuring out the world. Like just one of the things that Parker said I really related to, like, is like people who are also hating are probably going through some stuff, right? And you will not be able to relate to that or think about that until you figure out what you're going through, right? So that's this is one of the things I wanted to just quickly mention. But yeah, Thea, over to you, please.
Yeah, you guys are dope. That's so cool. I would say just like for any fellow creatives that are watching, how are ya? And I think there's no wrong way to like respond, to act, to feel at this time, because like this is just, it's just crazy. So if you feel like creating, good for you, go create. Like, if you want to be like as productive as you can, that's incredible. If you feel paralyzed and you just, it's just too much, then don't feel the pressure that you need to, because we will eventually move on and get through this. But I just think that, each to their own. Like if you are just able to like listen to your body, or go to the doctors, or go to there's like heaps of call lines and stuff as well, if you're just not sure like what's up and you just need to talk to someone. Like I just think there's no right or wrong way to do anything, and that if you just feel like maybe you need to see someone, or maybe you just need a lot more sleep, or maybe you just need to like shut off for a few days, or maybe you need like to get on the phone and call like a parent or someone you trust. Like, yeah, I think we're all just trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And yeah, I love you.
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Raitviz, Thea, and Parker, for having this conversation. So powerful, and for sharing your personal journeys and all of your tips. Everybody, please go follow them on social media. Listen to their music, consume their amazing content, buy their music.
Buy our music, please.
And honestly, if you're looking for tips on how to start the conversation with your friends about mental health, please visit seizetheawkward.org. You can also find access to some of the text and hotlines that Thea was talking about. And just a huge shout out and thank you to Lauv and the Blue Boy Foundation for putting all of this together. The Blue Boy Foundation, if you don't know, supports initiatives which help young people feel more comfortable reaching out for mental health help, and feel better equipped to help friends get connected with care. So please check them out, and blueboyfoundation.org for more information. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.